And we're live.
Again.
Here we go. One more time. Little technical difficulty again. So this is going to be the Giants. I'm in my mid-30s now. We did me as a kid, high school. Had some buddies from Hal, but got my little league team together here today. I got my assistant coach, Tommy Weaver. I'm going to tell that story in a minute, Tommy, how we got that going.
I forget.
Then I probably had my best two players here at the time, which I had a really good team. So a lot of those kids were pretty good too, but not trying to hurt nobody's feelings or make anybody mad. I probably got my best two players right here in Jay and Kyle.
When you look back at it, Jay, do you feel like you was like the best player on the team? Like, do you
Well,
feel
no, because
like
I always thought you were.
during your time.
No, I knew that you were.
You think I was?
I knew you were better.
Yeah,
than me.
when people tell me that, when you tell me that stuff, I don't feel that way. I've never.
Who did you
felt
think
like
was?
I just never felt like I was.
Did
the
you
best
think that
player
I was
on the
better than you? I never thought I
team.
was
I
better
never
than
looked
you.
at it that way.
Robbie
It never
Corey
crossed my mind.
Robbie Corey was good,
I felt like we played with
even though he
dogs.
didn't play 12.
I knew I had dogs next to me, so it didn't matter.
And Jordan was very good.
Did you put me at shortstop? Why?
Yeah.
Why did you do
When he would
that?
pitch.
No.
Well, when he
Oh,
pitched.
no.
Oh, you pitched a lot. That's why.
Yeah.
And then we had.
And you played second some
And then we had.
I don't ever remember.
because they would swing late. So we always had you on that side of the
I
field.
don't ever remember playing second base. Ever.
Derek Eubanks could cover first, so I didn't have to put you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we handed it down.
Yeah.
Because he
I
played
just
third too.
I was
So-
thinking about this last night. I was
Going
like,
back to this team in 2001, we won the championship. Man, what a great time. We just sitting there talking earlier. I think all the kids, if you look back at that team, they probably remember Kings Island more than anything. Not so much. We went 3 years straight? Or was it 2 years straight or three?
3, I believe.
I think we went 3
Yeah,
years
3.
straight. Whole team would go to Kings
That
Island.
was awesome experience.
I remember telling Julie Stevens, Michael's mom, she goes, "What's wrong with you?" And we was getting ready to leave Kings Island when you guys were 12. And I just shook my head and I said, "Man, it's over." She goes, "What do you mean it's over?" I said, "Well, this is the last time. You know, they're 12 and they're growing up on us. And I just hate it because we've been coming down here and it's kind of like an era's ending." And she said, "Well, we got plenty more baseball." I forget exactly, but she was sympathetic to me and kind of like, it hit her too. You know, our babies are growing up. But I remember leaving Kings Island and saying that to her. But man, what a run. What a run at Christian Park we
Man,
had.
my son's going to love this. You hear what they said, boy? I was the best on my team.
You definitely were.
You could play.
I've never thought that way.
He was really
though.
athletic.
Basketball
I
and
respect
baseball,
that.
both. You were always the best one.
So I done coached you guys 10, 11, but before the season started in March, I walk in down at the Ace at St. Patrick's Day, McGinley's place. And I walk in, I know more here, "Bobby, Haney, Bobby." I'm like, "What's that?" Look around, and there's Tommy. He goes, "What you doing, man?" I said, "You're too young to be in here."
Which I was.
Well, you was, wasn't you?
I'd have been about 20.
I said,
19, 20.
So we just got in a conversation, and I told him what all was going on. And he goes, "I'll help you." He goes, I'll help you, coach." I said, "Great." So we brought Tommy in. You guys loved him because he was a young guy.
You could relate, for sure.
You could relate.
Yeah,
Plus, he
for
could
sure.
go out and not only tell you, he could show you.
Yeah.
So big help to us and me, Tommy. I mean, you helped put that team together and brought us through. The great thing about that team, there was 9 teams in the league that year. You had 3 from community, and we had 6. So
Did we name the other 6? Or the 5 from the park?
no,
we had the
had
Braves,
the Giants.
Giants, Marlins.
Marlin sounds familiar.
What was
that Kelly Tibbs' team?
What was Jimmy Polton's team on Kel?
Yankees.
Cardinals.
That was
or-
Tigers.
was it
Tigers.
Yeah.
Tigers.
They were
had
tough.
Mikael Carter.
Pirates.
Pirates had nobody. That's a good start. I'll tell
That
you
was
here
a
in minute.
major team?
Yeah.
Pirates.
I'll tell a story about
Who
that.
was
here in a minute.
that? What coach was that?
Uh,
Was that Neat?
No, he was Braves.
Braves.
that was Bradley and the brothers.
Okay.
Who was the 16?
And then who was the other team?
The Moors.
The Reds.
Reds? I don't remember Reds.
The Reds were in there.
No.
Yeah, they were. It's Hodney's team.
I don't know who that is.
I remember Mike Schmidt, Tigers.
The Tigers had Mikael Carter,
Yeah.
Pierce, and Neat.
Or didn't you let the Orioles come in from community?
I don't know.
Well, they had 3 teams from
Yeah, they
there
had the
came in
Orioles.
I thought we
too.
played double headers because we had an odd number.
Yeah, we had 9
Didn't we
teams.
have to play like
9
double
teams.
headers on Saturday sometimes because it was an odd number somewhere?
I believe
But
that's.
that was, I'll never forget that year that your guys' 11-year-old year right before Tommy came. You remember when we finally took down the Dodgers And I went out and I said, I think I told you, Kyle, I said, if we win this game, I'm going out the middle of the field and I'm just diving. And I think everybody on the team come up and just boom.
That was Ballinger's team?
Yeah, and we beat them.
Yeah, they were tough.
They were tough.
I thought we lost, to be honest.
Well, we had to come back.
I remember
again.
bitching about Roger Farr all the time.
We had to play him twice because we beat him the first game.
Jay comes up to me one time mad, crying about the Dodgers, and I'm going, Jay, you just got. He goes, Dad, you don't understand. They don't even practice.
No, I hit a line drive over Farr's head, like a 10-foot dunk, and he goes up vertically and gets it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I went up to you crying. I was like 9 years old, first year in majors. I was like, he does it every time. My dad always made fun of me for that.
He goes,
sounds about right.
Don't even practice. I said, yeah, they did.
By far the best athlete at Christian Park.
Roger Farr.
Roger Farr. The only one that I'd known better back in my day, well, Hubbard was there with him. Hubbard wasn't as athletic as him, but he was a better overall baseball player. And then Mike McCarty. But, yeah, Roger Farr, he could play. That's for sure.
I remember saying it in playing high school, and I feel like people caught up to him, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The older he got. But I feel like he didn't work at it, though. If he worked at it, who knows? You know,
I remember
he was just natural.
Also,
he was definitely natural.
After that 12-year-old year, that indoor basketball league we had
3-on-3.
He was my first pick. I was like, I'll take Far Factor. I don't even know the kid. I never saw him play once.
You also took him the next year.
I said, just give me Far Factor because I heard so much about him. I was like, oh, yep, Far.
You coached against me. We went up to the juniors when they got 13.
I was so
On the
mad.
Rays?
I was so mad you didn't pick me.
I couldn't.
On the Rays, right?
Oh, I was.
He wouldn't. He didn't let me.
Oh, 13-year-old year? Me,
I was
me and
mad.
you were on the same team. I remember that. I was pissed. I was pissed, too.
Yeah.
Dude.
Pass the torch over to Weaver and didn't even say
We were saying, I'm going to blindside you here.
And then did you just let Padgett coach? I feel like I don't even remember seeing you there. I remember Padgett.
Because I had to help Larry Stevens still coach 12-year-olds. So I was still
That was back and forth.
doing
Padgett
12-year-olds.
was there.
I had Padgett and like one of his buddies.
Hungover.
I never thought about that. You left the Giants to Larry Stevens.
And then hold on. So Larry took it over for 1 year. I called
wonder
Bobby.
why our
I
feelings
said,
were
hey,
hurt.
next year it's my team. Like I'm not helping Larry. Like he's a great guy, but next year I'm taking
It's
over.
a generational gap
Right.
on knowledge of baseball.
I got to tell you.
Nothing personal, Larry.
No.
I got to tell you a Jordan story, though. And this has nothing to do with our baseball team.
Jordan.
I'm coaching Jay and Jordan when they're 5 years old in a little Tyke Go, 3 to 5 year old league in Christian Park, little Tyke goals. And Jordan comes down. He won't pass the ball. I mean, he's lighting it up, but he ain't passing.
You still don't.
So I call timeout. I said, Jordan. I said, man. We're up. I said, it's cool. I said, you don't have to carry the team or nothing. He's looking at me just like, yeah. I said, pass the ball a little bit. Let some other people shoot. He goes, okay. So we get back in the game. He comes down the floor. Half court, lets it go. Rips the net, looks at me and goes,
Get you the Jordan.
oh, timeout. You're out.
Get him out of
Put
here.
him on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Jordan. But he's looked at me like,
Savage.
It's probably because Dwayne told him, gave him good advice when he was little. When you get the ball, shoot it.
Dwayne was a baller.
Dwayne was dunking on us at 30 years old, 35, 40.
I had an indoor basketball league, and he was on my team. I was like, hey, do you want to come play? He's like, yeah, I'll come play. He like ran our squad.
And he's the most humble guy,
Yeah.
too. It's just like, really, he's just that humble about it. He's really good. He's the same way in pool. He's the same way in pool.
Jordan wasn't athletic.
You know,
as Dwayne.
No.
Jordan was. He wasn't
Jordan worked for
the
everything he got,
swiftest.
but he worked
of
for
feet.
it. He made sure he got it.
Yeah, so like Jordan, like he's right now, he's playing pool, whatever. He's, top in the state. Whoever would have known that. But Dwayne, he walks into a place, and he's respected.
they know him.
That's Dwayne Mullins. He's one of the best pool players around.
Interesting.
What story was you
That's
talking about,
interesting.
Kyle, to tell?
About who?
I thought you said you had a story or something.
Oh,
He's
no.
wanting
How
to-
about Dwayne?
Oh, Dwayne.
Used to hoop
he
on
used to
us.
just straight bang on us in the backyard.
Yeah, Jordan's backyard on that hill. Remember that over in Villa?
Yep.
Used to play over there a lot.
A lot of memories. On
Dwayne
Villa.
didn't take it easy on us.
Never.
No reason
Never.
to.
None of y'all.
And he
did.
would take
That's why
Jordan.
we were so
and he would take
competitive.
Jordan on his team because they had a little game plan pre-practice, and he'd light me and Kyle or me and Michael up.
Yeah.
He didn't play with us.
It was not fair.
Him and Jordan were like number 2 running give and goes and shit. We're like, what the fuck's
They were
going
calling-
on over
they were
here?
calling plays on us, bro, in the backyard.
Yeah, what?
Well, that 12-year-old year was awful special. I still got our trophy. The team's about that tall. Jay seen it.
Really?
I still got that thing, man.
But did Dwayne coach in the 3-on-3 league?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
He had a team. Player had a team. Doug had a team.
Jones.
Jones had a team. You had a team.
Me, Jones, you, and Dwayne. I think we're the four
We
coaches.
ended up second because I had Michael Query and had.
Where was I at? I don't think I played.
You
in that.
played with Jug. You and Spark.
Yeah,
Why?
you had Sparky.
Who picked that team?
Doug.
I played with you tonight. It was me, you, Roger, Farr.
My little brother Kevin.
Your little brother.
I remember
Kevin.
watching a lot of games, not playing.
Was there one more? Did we have one more
Me.
player? And you? We didn't have nobody on the bench.
I remember Tibbs going out with Query in that league, that 3-on-3. Michael Query and Kelly Tibbs. I remember them going battling back and forth for some reason. It's a random memory I have of that.
That was fun though. That was fun. That 3-on-3 league.
It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Yeah, that was dope.
Farr
We
could-
put that together for us.
I think
That
dunk,
was
couldn't
cool.
Yeah.
he? Could Farr dunk?
Yeah.
For sure.
Pretty sure. Or he
Yeah.
could jump off the wall.
Yeah. He could get up.
Because the walls were out of bounds at the old
What's
community
the other
center.
kid I had? That was really tough. He was my first pick. Center fielder from. He still plays a lot of softball with you. Black kid.
Pat Bell?
Yeah, I had Pat Bell.
Pat Bell.
I had Pat Bell
That was
and
an
Query.
athlete.
Shout out to Pat Bell. I'll see you at
Did you
9,
guys
Bob.
win?
We'll get the dub.
We got second. Who beat us? Who was the main team?
Was it?
might have been my
did
team.
Bovee?
We won that.
Might have been my
we,
team.
Yeah, Bovee
we
beat
won.
you.
We won that.
Bovee
3-on-3
beat you.
league.
Who was all on your team?
Me, Roger Farr, and Weaver.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it might have been you guys.
that's a good matchup though. Those three versus you three. Pat Bell and Query. That's
You know
good.
what blew my mind when we were kids though, is when we had Conte coaching, and you guys raced around the bases.
Who
You
did?
you and Conte raced around
Him
the
and
bases.
John Conte?
Yeah. You don't remember that?
No. What
Dude.
happened?
Well, obviously Conte won.
Yeah, smoked him.
No, that was the crazy part. That's why we were all shocked.
Oh,
your
he didn't
dad
smoke him?
Bro, your dad hooped with us, bro. Like your dad was always like this big,
No respect, Jay.
fluffy
No respect
ball.
for your dad.
None.
But the dude had wheels. Haney had wheels.
I can hoop
I
on
was
Jay.
shocked.
You know, as much as we're here to talk about the 12-year-old team, I tell you, the team that, as far as when I coached you guys,
hoop on you right
that I
now.
really had a lot of confidence in and really thought was probably the best team I coached. And that was your 14-year-old year, and we had you two. We had Conte. We had Kyle Weaver,
The Wolfpack
Matt
thing.
Lowry,
Lowry,
Kelly Tibbs,
Pierce.
Robert Pierce.
Yeah, we didn't have to go by
McHale.
Christian Park
McHale,
where you live
Jordan.
guidelines.
And I knew that
Michael
we were, I
Stevens,
tell you,
too,
Tommy,
I
how I
think.
knew we were good.
Yeah, he played in that
We
too.
were
We went
nasty.
at 14-year-old year.
We were a cheat
Jay
code that year.
at that point
Yeah.
was starting to break away a little bit with the Warren guys. And we ended up playing those Warren guys in a tournament at Lawrence. And our first game was Hamilton Southeastern. And what was amazing about that game, I still remember to the day, is we went down 4-0. And we were all mad, but none of us felt like at any time we were going to get beat. I mean, we just had a bad inning, and it was in the first inning. And we came off, we regrouped, we came back and won the game. But I knew after that inning, I said, we're not even sweating this. We're down 4-0 against Hamilton Southeastern. But we were solid
Oh, we were
all the,
stacked
all,
top
the,
to
all the
bottom.
way around.
Top to bottom.
Back to the Giants. We went undefeated, right?
No, 19-1.
We
I think
won.
19.
We lost night. We went.
The
19-1.
Braves.
We
Why did the
lost.
Braves beat us, Tommy?
We had a rain out.
Monday.
Game got rescheduled to a Thursday, I think it was.
And that was the
Wednesday. We go to Kings Island. Bobby brings the bus in. We go to Kings Island. We get back at like midnight.
And then we had to
1
play that
a.m.,
day?
And had to play the next day against the Braves. And they were all just wore out. I mean, they'd been at Kings Island for 12 hours running around like kids. It was hot as hell. We get back next day. Braves beat us by
feel
one, I
like-
think.
Hold on. Did we
And-
have a practice that morning?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I-
But no, that was our
Sounds like
one
something he would
loss
do.
was because it was a
No,
rain
I
out.
feel
Because
like-
we
I
scheduled the
feel
trip
like-
to make sure there was no game going to be.
I feel like we had a 5
messed
o'clock
with.
game, but I feel like we practiced at like 2 o'clock that day. I feel like we took BP. I feel
You guys
like
were
we
the only
did.
team that ever practiced on a game day. We'd be down at the football field doing
Yeah.
batting practice on Saturday
We
morning.
worked pretty
at
hard,
9
didn't we?
a.m. Oh, man.
But
You
when he
you
was
had
telling
them
the
run it,
story
yeah.
about his dad and how his dad would just let one kid hit the whole practice, I remember.
Tommy's oldest brother played on that team.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Rick Weaver.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then I was just thinking about how many times like we sat at practice and just hit nothing but curveballs, or we just got like tennis rackets hit to us in the outfield.
Yeah, I remember that
A lot of tennis
racket.
rackets.
Tennis racket,
A lot of pop flies.
evolutionary in its day.
A lot of Kyle Bovee catches.
A lot of-
tennis racket. Because you were the middle infielder. It's
It was
usually your
nasty. I
responsibility.
played in the grass, didn't I, coach?
Our 12-year-old team was good.
Oh yeah.
We should have never got beat. You know what beat us, don't you? Remember what
We
beat
just
us?
talked about it.
No, our 12-year-old year. You know what beat us? That tournament. We should have won district.
All Stars. I beat us.
Wait, you know why we lost?
No,
though?
you didn't beat us.
I know
Was that
exactly why we
13-year-old
lost.
year?
Listen, you didn't beat us.
What was the ground ball under my legs? Is that 12 or 13?
That was 12. That was our year.
I remember. I don't
That
remember
was
that.
We
That's what beat us.
won our 12-year-old year. You're talking about All Stars.
All Stars.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Why did we lose? I can tell you right now because I'll never.
I remember
Well,
you punched you broke your hand.
Yeah.
No, I
Kyle
can
broke his
tell you.
hand.
I can tell you exactly. We couldn't hit a curveball, but we never had positioned ourselves to hit a curveball because
Didn't need to.
12 and under, you didn't have. But this coach,
Etiquette.
I think it might have been Car 9. This kid come in, all he did was throw curveballs. Top of the order is the only guys could hit him. You,
Well,
Pierce,
that's
and
what I was gonna
Tibbs.
say.
We didn't lose the car 9.
No, we didn't lose no card.
it was somebody.
definitely
Might have
lost.
been
Talking
Decatur.
about.
We definitely lost to
Decatur sounds more.
We definitely lost to Decatur
say,
because
applicable.
I played against all the kids that I used to play at Decatur against, and that's why I was so mad.
I think that was the problem with that 12-year-old All-Star
We
team
had-
was that you guys were so talented, but the other kids in the park didn't have the training you guys had.
Our 12-year-old
So once
team
All-Stars
was our
came-
our Giants team with the other rest of the kids.
Yeah, when you threw in Tibbs and McKell and Noah and Pierce, they were good, but they didn't have the training you guys had the whole year. And so when we got there, like, they were talented. They were athletes. I mean, freaking Pierce was a man child. That kid was the only kid. He took off his shirt one day at the park running around, and he looked like a grown dude. He was ripped, and I was like, who the hell is this kid? Like,
Yeah.
this kid's a beast.
You're right.
Like, he was a man child.
The
But they
Mets.
just
The
didn't have
Mets
any-
were the other team. I just remember that.
Right, you're right.
The Mets. That was bugging me. I had to remember.
But those guys didn't have any they didn't have any training year round like you guys did.
No, they
you
didn't.
guys and
I
Stevens,
mean,
Jordan.
winter came around. Dad got him.
Kelly Tibbs practiced with us in the winter.
And so did Pierce.
practiced with us
Between
in the
Well, that's
11 and 12?
after 12.
That was
After
after
12.
12.
You're right,
After
you're right,
12.
you're right.
But
Up
before,
until that point, then,
but
yeah,
until
you're
that
right,
point,
you're exactly
they
right.
didn't get all the training you guys
Yeah.
did.
Kelly's dad.
I think
worked
that
with them
slowed
a
us.
lot on the,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, on like the mound.
You
and
know,
stuff.
from our Giants team, who I was really impressed with once he got into high school, just amazed me. I want to take a little bit of credit for it, or I feel, need to take a little bit of credit for it. But Michael Stevens could stroke the ball in high school. At how? He was crushing
lighting
the
them
ball.
up.
Yeah, he was one of the top hitters in the city at that time.
None of us would have been as good as we were if we didn't have you.
Yeah, facts.
There's no way.
I tell people all the time, my dad's that crazy baseball dad.
Like,
you know, there's always that dad. That's my dad.
I was with Darren Brooks Diesel. I was with Diesel today. Darren Brooks today. His boy.
There's another athlete. Oof, that kid.
Darren was he's an
And
athlete.
we was talking, and he was like, "If we didn't have we look at the kids out here. You know, they're playing travel ball.
Right.
They still didn't get the coaching we got coached in those 5-6 year span that we got from you.
Yeah,
And
I get
from
it.
Tim, they got from Tim and Dave Sneed and those
They
guys.
got a little
you know
bit.
what I mean?
They got guys that knew the game.
Yeah, they
but not-
definitely.
Nah,
had,
there's levels to it though.
But not-
Dad was on
right,
it.
but he
Yeah.
was level.
A lot of kids come to me all the
He's
time. They're
level 10
like,
DEF CON.
if your dad was my dad, I'd be a pro. And I'm like, but you weren't. It happens to me all the time. Like,
If you would have told me at 12 years old you was gonna go dominate on the mound somewhere, in
I would have
college,
laughed at it.
I would have been like, "There's no way."
Well, if you
You're
remember,
tripping.
Jay
if you
never
remember,
pitched.
You know,
Jay
I was-
never pitched for us.
I know, and that's why I said that.
You know, I was
That's
top.
exactly
You
why
know,
I
I
made
ended
that
up top
statement.
3 in the nation that year.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, I would have
yeah.
never believed that at 12 years old. You could have never. I've been like, no way.
Never pitched. Like maybe against like the Pirates when we won 19-0.
I
Actually,
could
that
see
game
him
we
going
won.
at
The
first
only
base
time
or
I only
third,
pitched
you know
once.
what I mean, and
I
doing
pitched
something.
against the Giants. Somebody who showed up at 8 and to play. I needed to pitch
You
went
against
put
the
over
Jay
Giants.
on the other team to pitch, yeah. So
And I
we could play the
dominated.
game.
Typical Haney
Kept
answer.
the-
I don't remember that.
My own team. I don't either.
I didn't dominate. It
I
was,
do. You don't remember that?
I
Him
don't know.
pitching
I
against us?
can't believe you don't.
it was a
remember that. I do.
half-assed attempt of a game. We
Yeah,
weren't
it was
serious.
like they had.
I struck
they-
out the first 4 hitting. It was Jordan, Kyle, Derek might have got a hit. I struck everybody else out. I'm not playing with you.
That's some good times. I know that.
Great time.
Quick story about freaking Derek Muse's dad. What's his name?
Dennis,
No.
Eubanks.
Doug?
Dave.
Dave.
We're
His
beating the
name's Dave.
Pirates 19-0 after the second inning. I'm coaching third. Glenn Graves is umping. He looks at me like, "Come on, dude. It's 19-0 second inning. You guys are still smoking the ball." And Derek gets a double, so I walk out to second base. I'm like, "Hey, when you score, I want you to step over home plate so Glenn can call you out and we can end the inning." He's like, "All right." Base hit happens. He rounds third. He goes to home. He like does a jump over home plate to make it so noticeable that everybody sees him miss. Glenn calls him out. I'm like, okay, thanks. Walks to the dugout. His dad.
Here comes Dave.
Rips me. You don't teach my son to lose. My boy isn't a loser. We win. You don't ever tell my son. I was like, dude, we're up 19-0, bro. Like, take a chill pill.
You knew who else gave me a hard time about that? My dad.
Really?
Yeah. He came at me, but he goes, Bobby, he goes, I understand he was in a bad situation. He goes, but you don't tell kids to make outs on purpose. He goes, take one base at a time. He goes, but don't make outs on purpose.
Well, there's something called baseball etiquette. When you get to higher levels, you don't do that.
Yeah. That's just
take a base at a time.
Well, it's kind of not true.
I can't stop him at
Depends
that
on what
third,
you're
ball's
playing.
in the
Little
fence.
League, baseball, you get it out.
I don't even think there's a 10-run rule anymore. Like,
There's 10 run rules.
yeah.
No. I'm saying in the older kids.
No,
Like,
There is in high school.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that. I'm talking about, but like Braden's rec leagues out there, 6 runs.
Oh,
an inning.
AAU? No.
6 runs. An
Oh,
inning.
like per inning?
Yeah, just I'm
like
talking about
like
rec
an inning
baseball
max.
like we played as kids. I'm not talking about none
So
of the
if they score 6 runs, then the
6
inning's
runs,
over.
you're done.
The inning's over.
Hey, and you can tie.
That's the word. Dad had me umpired RBI, and these guys are talking about a tie. I'm like, what do you mean?
And you want to talk about one thing that I told Darren Brooks today is I hate when you don't teach the game like it's played.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, kids should be leading off. I don't care. They should be leading off 9, 10 years old like they are now in travel leagues, but even in rec leagues, it should be taught to these kids just like it was. Like, we were leading off in practices, even though we weren't allowed to lead off. And that was 14 when we had 14 years old when we had the
And then you could do that.
Crushers team.
The problem with that, though, is
Yeah.
inner city, you don't get the coaches that even know how to lead off correctly.
Yeah,
So how can you teach somebody that don't know?
That's the biggest thing I face right now in RBI is we'll put these kids together. They've never played. And the problem, Kyle, is not that the kids can't learn it or can play it. The coaches can't coach it.
Yeah.
So it creates a big problem.
That's probably
out
the
there.
biggest difference I see in when I go watch the youth baseball these days is you can tell the difference in the teams by how they run the bases out the gate.
Yeah.
Out the gate. You can tell by the beginning of the game. If you got a runner on third, no outs, if that kid gets walked and he's jogging to first, you know that team ain't about to pop you. You know what I mean? They're not going to put it on you. They might beat you, but they're not going to put it on you.
Right.
But you see that kid that gets walked and he takes off running, them boys is getting coached right. There's a big difference there. There's a big separation in that, and a lot of people don't see it, but it's the small things in the game.
Could you picture, like, I know for us, like, you're 20 years older
Could
than
you imagine
me.
if we got to lead off at 12?
But could you picture
I would
if
have
you
had
guys,
a million
I would have had
stolen
100
bases.
stolen bases.
and he'd had none still. Could you imagine if you guys had the baseball fields these kids have now?
Oh, man.
Grand
Dude,
Park,
going out
all
to
these
Grand
places.
Park is
We'd have been
like
out
a
there every
dream,
weekend
bro.
when those guys were 12.
Oh,
You'd have had to,
we
we
would
would have
have,
been
you're
out
right.
there every single.
You know, we
like,
thought our field was
wish-
really.
oh,
We thought our field was dope, but the older you get, you realize it wasn't.
no. Like,
So
man,
what
could
it
you
was,
imagine?
you know what
I mean,
It
and you guys,
wasn't at all.
You
bro.
guys had the bandits
It
still,
was.
so I mean, you guys had that. Like, you guys had to hook up there, but
I'd rather
like,
play at Christian Park.
we could have gone. Like, you guys, yeah. I mean, Grand Park, we would have been there every single weekend with that 12-year-old
Oh,
squad.
absolutely.
Like, there'd been no
if
reason.
we would have had them opportunities, man.
Yeah.
They just didn't have it. back
What was
then.
the team
It
we
wasn't
put
like it was
together
now.
where they didn't let me and that was the team that was supposed to win Williamsport. They didn't let me play or in like
Win
Kelly Tibbs.
Williamsport.
No, it was the best year because we had Neat.
We still win that
was-
year.
that was-
We had
that
legally
was-
somehow we had Neat in them,
you
but I
started-
got kicked off.
You and Kelly
What?
did. You and Kelly. Well, our
How
player,
did that happen? Because that was
player-
funky. That was weird.
Well,
That was the year we're supposed to win.
So actually, hold on. Well, we're supposed to be talking about the Giants.
well, this is an extension of the Giants.
Okay, so how did the whole bringing over the Neat and Matt Lowry, and I think we got Weaver, didn't we?
yeah, and me off. Me and the two Christian
No,
Park kids got
Weaver-
kicked off.
Well, yeah, you and something. What happened with that?
Weaver played the following year, him and Chris Conte. We added those two to what all we
After
had.
that year, right. That makes sense now.
Okay.
But why did Jay and Kelly get kicked off?
What happened is Freddie Neat had a residency in Christian Park and was married to Lowry's mom.
Right, because that was Chris's stepbrother.
And they used that address that they did live there.
Right.
Well, what happened was when we jumped out and beat Southport,
Put it on them. They was mad.
Franklin Township.
Oh, they dug into the files.
Franklin Township was
Haters.
where Neaton them came
Haters.
out, right?
Christian Park started winning, and it shouldn't have been happening.
Southside haters.
Oh, hold on.
So
it
I
shouldn't
got
have
called-
been happening.
No,
It was
we,
a
we
long-
had never.
It
Not
was
legally.
a long time coming, whether we did it the right way or the wrong way. They
I
deserved
got
everything
called-
they got.
Yeah.
I got called upstairs, and they wasn't liking it, and they basically looked in the records, and the paperwork wasn't done properly for you and for Kelly Tibbs by our player agent, who was
Mike
Tim
Gunyon.
Ballinger.
Oh, Tim Ballinger.
Tim
That was Mike
Ballard, you owe
Gunyon.
me
Thought it was
one.
Mike Gunyon.
That year that the paperwork was supposed to be sent in for you guys, it was Tim.
Why did Mike always come up to me and go, I'm so sorry for that year? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, maybe he didn't fill it out the years before, and he should have.
Oh, maybe.
So,
So how about that game at Southport that I got kicked out of?
yeah, I remember that.
Y'all remember
That's when you
that?
broke
So-
your hand, right?
So Kyle gets
That's the
upset
team I
with
got
me.
kicked off
He
of.
gets real upset.
Me and
Little-
Kelly weren't playing on
No.
that team.
Little League put a rule in, and the rule was if a pitcher started, you could re-enter him as a pitcher. That was never a rule before.
Okay.
So we get in a game, and it's a game where it slipped away from us. We have bases loaded. McHale's on the hill. We're up, but barely. Okay. So I make a pitching change because I know Kyle can handle the pressure. I know Kyle can get us out of it, and he did. Well, what I was doing, and he didn't know because he's just a young guy. You know, he's like, man, I'm in here. I want to stay. I'm like, Kyle, I got to have you for next game. I got you in here to get us out of a jam. And I knew I could re-enter McHale. I just had to get him out of the mess. Then he came right back in and just bullets again.
And that was the right move because at the time there was no way Mikhail could have did what I did with his, just because of his
Training.
He struggled with the
Right.
mentality of it.
So
Bad call at second. I slid in the second.
shirt
He was mad about a
did.
call.
I was mad about a call. It was when he picks it.
Are we back up?
on?
Yeah.
So Mikhail gets out the inning.
So all that happened once we went back on offense.
We went, and I'm on deck. I'm on deck, too. I'm on deck when we go back to bat. So I'm struggling right now at that game. I'm struggling hitting. So I went and I start throwing my bat out there. I'm going fake bunt. You know what I mean? Get walked. I knew I had to get something going. So I get on first. I feel like Robert Pierce was batting behind me that game.
Probably.
Sounds about right.
Something happened.
And then I would go with Kelly after that.
You got
too.
called out somehow.
No, I stole second. Was safe by 2 feet.
That's what it was.
The player makes a late tag, drops the ball.
On
And
top
the
of
same
the tag.
time, and the same time he drops the ball, puts it back in his glove, comes up, you're out. And
It was a horrible call. I remember.
It was dumping.
The park went
it was-
crazy.
I mean, it was
obviously
Like you
horrible.
came out the dugout to the ump to see like why I was called out.
I was in the stands because I
And
wasn't
at the
playing.
same time, Decatur, one of the parents, said something about us being ghetto kids,
Yeah.
disrespectfully, and sorry, Mom, but I said, I looked at the umpire and I said, you got to be fucking kidding me. I said, he dropped the ball. He didn't even have the ball. Before I even was there on the base, he didn't even have the ball. And he goes, you're out of here. You're done. And I heard that mom say, get his ghetto ass out of here.
I got it.
And I said, what? I said,
I want to go back.
Kyle rips his
you.
shirt off, flips everybody
I
off,
remember that.
Tupac style.
and then,
that's
and
when
then,
you go
when he was
punch the
14.
dugout.
and then
The concession stand. You
they
punched the
kicked me
concession
out. I punch the concession stand, cinder block walls like a jackass because I was just all attitude.
Hurt your
back then.
hand, dude, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I didn't break it though.
So
luckily.
let this story.
But you had to do a player meeting. You had to
Imagine
have a
that.
player meeting so I could play in the next game. And the only reason why I got to play was because my mom knew Decatur's coach, and he coached me when I was in my
He go to
youth
bat
days.
for you?
And he was like, let the kid play. It was a bad call. He had the moment. They knew they shouldn't have beat us that game.
You know, earlier we was talking about the Giants, and we was going around the horn trying to remember the roster. And you brought up the brothers.
Bradley.
Bradley and I don't know what his brother was. He a younger brother?
His older brother, I forget his
I always
name.
called him Bradley and Bradley.
He comes up to me. We're playing down on the minor diamond that day. And I picked him up, bring him to the game, and he gets in the truck. And he
The
looks
old
at me
red
and
truck.
he goes, Coach.
For lightning.
He goes, I'm hitting a home run today. I said, well, man, that's great. I said, we would probably use that. He goes, no, Coach, you don't understand. I'm hitting a home run today. If you remember on the minor field, he took it over the tree.
Yeah, over the
And he got in the dugout after he hits. You remember that?
No, he was a good sized kid though, so
he
could
was
hit
a
the
big
ball.
boy. He got
just
all
didn't
of it.
want to
What
play.
was his
He just didn't
last
want to play.
name?
Warner?
No,
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, that's it. It
Was
was Bradley Warner. That's exactly who it was.
He gets in the dugout, sits down, looks up at me, and goes, I told you, Coach. That's a true story. That happened.
That's wild.
That is wild.
I remember somebody getting smacked with a bat on the minor field, splitting her whole face open right here.
I remember when Brooks, my stepbrother, got hit with a bat.
Was he in a game?
It was at Howe. We were playing at Howe. We were like 13 or something.
Was he over helping coach or something? Or?
Yeah, he was my coach. You had to delegate something to somebody. You're like, you coach this team. We sucked. You're like, I'm not coaching this.
that was the Howell League, right?
He was too
Over
busy
Howell
at
for-
forward.
It was a
too busy.
13-year-old
He was
Christian
busy at
Park
forward back
League.
then.
Over at Howell High
He
School. though.
expanded the, because of me. Yeah.
So
Kid was standing on deck. Brooks got smoked. Wham.
I must not have been there that day.
You
'cause I
weren't.
don't remember that.
You were pissed.
how did we end up on the Bandits?
Dad paid for you.
I mean, I know that. I know
Sponsored
that.
by-
They probably said, your kid's good, but we need him too. It's probably what happened. I don't
That's
know.
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
We want Bovee.
You
Well,
went
you gotta
to-
take my boy.
you
My
went to
dad
a
cared about you,
practice,
man.
I
He
went
cared
to a
about
practice.
you.
I remember.
And then they seen you because
He knew you were better than
to
me.
get out there to play. And then all of
I
a sudden,
remember. I remember
Dixon,
being on that fence. I was
Dixon-
so ready. It was
Dixon
shaking.
looks over at me and goes, who's that kid? I said, well, he's one of my kids on the Giants. And he goes, we need to make him a bandit. And I said, we probably do.
Yeah. It's better than Jay.
The only problem is he's got two
His
brothers. He's got a really bad attitude,
Yeah,
and
his
he don't
attitude.
got a lot of money.
But you remember,
He's from the ghetto.
if you remember, we didn't stay there long.
No, we didn't. We didn't.
We hightailed
did.
it back to Christian Park.
Yeah.
We had a lot of kids.
I'll never forget that because I'll never forget being on the mountain in Tennessee and my mom being in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. I remember your mom.
I'll
in the
never
hospital.
forget that.
Did
And
she have
I
a
hear
nice
I hear
place?
time blue, and I look over and it's your dad coming on the field, and I'm like, why the hell is Haney?
She have a
coming on the
miscarriage or
field?
something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's when she had thunder.
Oh,
almost
she had
died.
thunder.
She basically died twice.
I didn't
Wow.
know that.
Yeah, and you came out and you said, I said, what the hell are you doing out here? Because you wasn't a coach. You was a parent.
Oh, you just brought a
You
memory
said-
back to my.
You
I don't
said,
remember that.
you said Bovee. You said, you told me the score, how many outs, something. And you said, your mom's in the hospital. She's not doing very good. We don't know what's going on. But the faster you get these outs, the faster we can go find out. Tapped me on my shoulder and went off the field.
That was better than the speech I gave you.
You still owe me a steak.
I didn't tell him.
The thing
I
about
didn't tell
it
him.
is I'd rather be able to say you owe me a steak than you buy me a steak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's just something that's
am I
be
missing something
instilled
here?
in
Should
my-
I tell him now?
It
Yeah,
was.
let-
Tommy hit me up last week and goes, "Hey, tell Jordan and Kyle when they come, I'll get him that steak."
Oh, so yeah.
I did
so
see that. I
we
seen
were
the screenshot
playing.
of
Oh yeah,
we
it
were playing somebody. It was a close game. It was 12-year-old Giants. It was a close game, and Kyle's pitching, George's catching.
I was
and
struggling a little bit.
You're like, go out there and talk to him. I'm like, all
I'm
right.
struggling.
So I go out there, and yeah, he's struggling, just being Kyle. And, instead of going out there and be like, hey, you need to do, I was like, hey, so what kind of steak do you like? And they're both looking
Hold
at
on.
me like,
Does he still owe you this
He
steak?
still owes me that. He still owes me
And,
and Jordan
yeah,
a steak.
so I'm
20,
like-
20 years
20
later?
years
Man,
he still
Jordan.
owes it to
every
me.
time they tell me, every time that I see him, you owe me a steak.
That's why I said I'd rather him owe me the steak than him
So,
actually
yeah,
get
so
me
I'm
a
like,
steak.
what kind of steak
'Cause I
do you
would
like?
rather have that over him. You know.
And they're
what I
like,
mean?
oh man, what steak? I'm like,
We're
well, what
playing
kind of steak
baseball,
do you like?
man.
Like,
Man,
I
I-
don't know. Well, I'm like, look, you strike this dude out, and tonight we're going out. I'm buying steaks.
You know, actually,
and then Jordan's playing catcher, and he's saying something. Jordan's like, yeah, cock. Right here, he's like,
You know,
come on,
actually-
man, this T-bone's gonna be real good tonight. This T-bone, I'm like, you catch and shut
if
up.
you look
Jordan.
back at that team, actually, our MVP of that team was Tommy.
no,
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, because you pulled us all together.
You did. You,
you-
kept us
Yeah,
grounded.
take it to the house.
You,
take it to the house.
I remember that.
Oh, man.
I remember that. Take it to the house.
All
Take
the,
it to
the
house.
freaking
down there,
carpool
stomping
karaoke
on
with
there.
Backstreet Boys with your dad. Oh, my
man.
God, every day.
It was worse. Remember, I went to Vegas and I came back thinking that was over, and then
remember.
I came back in the winter and you guys were playing basketball, and you guys were doing the weave drill to Backstreet Boys. And I was like, oh, it's gay.
You can't say that. Can't say that
You
word
straight
these days.
You straight left
Oh,
us.
they're
Cancel
gonna cancel
culture.
me? Whatever.
Gonna
You
cancel
straight
your own
left us,
podcast.
bro.
Yeah, but the
didn't wanna
music kind
leave.
of put things in perspective to learn how to get out on the wings.
Yeah.
It was a good practice.
That was a good drill.
It was
I was just
fun.
making fun of the music.
Always. And he would jam it out. Every
yeah.
lyric. He
Yeah.
had us singing
He
too.
wasn't
We can't
loyal either. He
lie.
liked NSYNC and Backstreet
Yeah.
Boys.
I don't remember.
That was
I
illegal.
like, I like
And then
Nelly
I'm like,
too.
we're playing Trick Daddy. Come on. Bobby's playing
Dad
Backstreet Boys.
liked Kid Rock was another album you played a lot.
Yeah.
50 Cent album.
You had that Get Rich or Die
I
Trying.
remember. I never forget. I wanted to go spend the night at Michael Stevens' house. It was
You
like
got
me,
him to
you,
buy the
Jordan,
50 Cent album, didn't
and
you?
I had Dad bought me the 50 Cent album.
That's
So
what
I asked
it was.
for
I
it,
remember that.
and it wasn't the edited one. We're in Michael's room.
And look what happened. Now here we are.
We're in
20 years
Michael's.
later.
We're in Michael's
We're
room
in Coach
bumping.
Kane's studio.
Yeah. Bumping this album, and Julie comes in. What is this devil's noise? Calls Dad. You realize what you bought these boys?
No, I did not.
No, and damn good
She was
well he
pissed
did.
at Dad.
It was we were supposed to take it to Mike's.
No, supposed to take it to Jordan's. Dwayne wouldn't have cared.
No.
No, Dwayne didn't care. Dawn
You know,
didn't care.
No, Don.
No.
Don's the best.
Shout out to them though.
As much as
They
you
were-
raised us,
they-
Don and
they were
Don and
just as
Dwayne
much-
raised us.
They
too.
were just as much as a
Julie.
part as that Giants
Julie.
team.
Julie was, yeah. You guys had some really good parents. Good
Your
team
mom.
My
moms.
mom,
Your mom.
Donnie.
That was. I
There's
remember
a lot
that.
of good
Do you
parents.
remember in the beginning of the year? I forget exactly when it was, but I made a call. I did something that it backfired. It was a bunt or something. Dawn came unglued, and I'm looking back over down to third base. I'm going, really?
You make Jordan Bunn or Jackson or something?
Something happened and it backfired, but
Probably Jared
I went back
Jackson,
to I
one of
went back to coaching 101 with her. She made sure I understood I messed up.
They did. I mean, they knew the game.
Yeah, but
I
see,
mean,
Was it her or
Larry
Mona that was
was.
on the softball team?
That was the thing, though. Everybody knew the game,
think it
so
was
they
Dawn.
could hold you accountable as a coach, as a parent, just
Dawn's
as
probably-
much as you could hold us accountable
looking
as
back
a
at
player
that Giants
to a
team,
coach.
you know, one of the funniest things that I remember, you guys, when you guys were out on defense, there was 3 kids in the dugout, me, Tommy, and Larry. Larry was hilarious
because it was always
with Jordan's
Jackson.
2 brothers.
Oh yeah.
Jackson and Jared were
I
always
mean,
like.
Jackson gave him all kinds of grief.
I was probably too young to realize how funny he was.
was the
Because when I got
funniest guy
older
ever.
and I was over at Jordan's house all the time, I was like, this dude is funny.
He was
But
9
I
years
mean,
old and you guys were 12.
always
so,
roasting us.
Like, you guys just thought he was just a kid that was just like, wouldn't leave you alone. But he was actually in the dugout. He would crack Larry up. Larry'd be like, well, you just sit your ass down. And he'd be like, standing and jumping. And Larry just
well,
looked at
you
him like,
remember
"Ugh."
Jackson at that time, he's only 9.
He was 9. And Jared was 11
10 or 11.
10. He's only a year older.
They was
than
only
me.
a year. They're a year
Okay.
apart. Yeah.
But those two, and the thing about it was, is
Man, I haven't seen them in
those 2,
forever.
as far as 9 and
They were
10-year-olds
good.
in the league, they probably were the best 2 9 and 10-year-olds in the whole league.
If they were playing minors, they would have dominated down
They
there.
would have dominated.
But they were playing with 12-year-olds, and so they didn't get much playing time.
You know, Jared's glove was always underrated.
Yeah, but you know what?
He
was
played a
talking
good
about this
second
you know,
base.
this morning,
Jared
too.
actually played a lot of
he played a lot
shortstop.
of short and second. He'd go opposite of you when he pitched.
Yep.
Jared was
Put you
super
at second
underrated.
short, yeah.
He got overshadowed because we had so many 12-year-olds.
I felt like he had a glove that was like
Exactly.
this big.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I remember.
dude,
He had like a
get that kid.
14-inch.
It
No,
was
Larry did that
massive.
to all of them. Jordan had a glove like that too when he played the field. This long. Outfielder's glove.
See, Dad did me like that too, and Dad and Larry Stevens.
When you get older, you realize that's actually the worst.
That's wrong. As you get older, you realize that
You're supposed to not actually ever use your glove. Your glove is an extension of your hand.
right. Needs to be short,
Yeah.
10 inches.
When you,
11.
Infielder. Outfielder, yeah.
Mine was like
different.
13.
I like 11
14.
and a quarter when I played short. 11 and a quarter, that's what I like. Now
I think,
play with the
that's what I
14.
played with in college at 11 and a quarter.
I play softball, so I play the 14 now. But
Who's all on that softball team? I hear about that softball team. You got
let's
Drew on
see.
that softball team?
we got Drew Weingarten.
No.
No,
What
man.
position is he playing?
He catches.
He probably likes that.
He doesn't catch very much.
No.
Shout out to Drew.
He probably enjoys that though.
Oh, he's came up clutch many times.
Really?
Really?
I swear. That's why he plays with us. He's solid out there. I'm not gonna lie.
Who else you got?
So Pat Bell leads off. I bat 2. Alex Davison bats 3.
Okay.
His brother Jake. I don't know if you know Jake.
He's the older?
He's older than Alex.
Davidson's, I don't know them doing.
Nah, they're Christian Park boys though, right?
Davidson actually had an older brother that passed away when he was young.
Right.
Played on the Braves. And got electrocuted.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so who else? Who else you got?
It's Bradley O'Connell.
Bradley played with us last week. He hasn't played in a while. His boy got.
You ain't brought Tommy out of retirement yet?
Tommy catches. That's about it. I can't run like I used to. Every time I run, hamstring pulls.
I'm sitting at Warren Central one night watching Cecina.
I know where the story's going.
In Warren Central, and I'm sitting up in the stands
In a football game.
with Bo Weaver. He goes, they're a little bit overmatched, 4A, 2A. He goes, but watch Tommy on the end here. I said, what am I watching? He goes, ain't nobody going to beat him down there. I said, nah. Tommy just, gone. Tommy was quick. Tommy was Bovee quick.
Yeah.
Weaver?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that.
That's fast.
We raced a few times.
That's fast.
We raced a few times at practice
my
for
strength.
sure.
What's my speed?
Todd was quick.
Todd had quick feet. Ooh,
Todd
his
could
little-
fly.
Todd
too.
was so quick, his head
my
would,
brother,
he would leave his
me
head.
and Darren were talking about this either. He never made it out the batter's box with his helmet on.
Ever.
Ever.
I remember that.
When I was 9, 10 years old,
Todd ran like Tim Ballinger did. Like his head
Todd
would be
ran-
behind him. He's so quick.
Todd ran a 4.2 at high school. He had the main record
4.2.
for a while.
That's
He had
like
it.
that's D1 speed.
He still owns the inner city baseball stolen bases record, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Out of manual?
Out of Maine, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
impressive.
he was very, very, very.
We get a lot. We get a
lot
lot
of that,
hype.
though.
We get a lot of hype for our Giants team,
Yeah.
but really Ballinger's team, they could do the same. Like have their own little.
Yeah, they could.
They could. They probably deserve it.
Both the
honestly.
Ballinger kids.
You could probably get a couple of them on here. You can't get Neil over here. You can't.
do the whole
I
Christian.
know Darren. I can get Darren over here easy.
They were loaded. I mean,
Who do you
they had
think-
Enlow. They had.
We
Who do
beat
you
'em,
think
didn't
these
we?
days
We beat them.
between you two? Well, probably you. Who can throw harder?
Me.
Jake,
Oh,
Jake-
still?
You don't even know the story. We played when we were 18. I had a home run off Kyle. He was pissed.
When
Opposite field.
I hadn't played.
But that was.
I
that's
hadn't
15
played
years ago.
baseball.
Your arm
Was
was
that
still
up
good
at,
enough?
Man, you called me up, bro. I was out.
I'm just kidding. I had to tell a story once.
I know. I was out selling drugs.
So was
Living
I.
I was 17. Like
Coach
you guys
Kane.
were still practicing, bro.
Nah,
you guys,
bro, I wasn't.
you had Conte. You guys were loaded.
What do you
and
think me and Conte were doing?
Bro, he pulls
cuz?
me off the bench after like a year and a half and says,
Was that when we had Christian
wanna
Park?
pitch?
Lowell,
We
and-
played at
You
it was-
played
wanna
against
pitch.
us, didn't you?
I was playing for Lowell randomly just because Michael Hooten. Then I brought Chris with me and some Warren.
it was
guys.
just like some random pickup
Kyle.
game.
We had Kyle Scott.
Yeah.
I had
Good
Kyle
ring.
Scott. I had Warren high school team at Lowell.
You think you can
They
throw
followed
harder
me.
than me like right now?
Right now.
Actively? You still throw though?
You just form alone. Yeah, I was probably my size. Yeah,
I'm
Kyle could
saying-
throw awful hard.
I know he can.
But
My
he still
guys-
plays softball.
I don't feel like
That's why
I
I'm
throw
thinking,
that hard, but my guys tell me like
I
you
got
throw
out
hard, bro.
Let's put it this way: the guy that I played.
I'm not. I don't know.
I played with a guy.
I'm sure you maxed out at your prime way higher than I did.
Yeah, I hit 90 in a couple
Yeah,
games.
there's no way.
I mean, once or twice.
I never felt like I threw.
Never
80.
threw that consistently.
You think I threw 80?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, I just don't look at it like I don't know. Maybe it's just
You were
And
probably
a lot
topping
of
at
people
80.
don't believe this, but there's also a difference in throwing fast and throwing hard. You agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's guys
Yeah.
who throw. There's guys who throw 85, but their ball don't move.
Yeah.
That makes the
Don't matter.
world of a difference. Is
exactly.
Don't move.
you popping the glove, or is it just a straight over the top 85? You're still getting.
So who do you go?
Creamed.
Who would you rather bat against then? Michael Schmidt or McHale?
Michael Schmidt.
McHale could bring it.
McHale had a
He just
no
didn't
ball
have
to
any
run.
pitch.
He had
Michael
no
Schmidt
training.
right over top.
None.
He had
That's
no
what
training. He
I-
got to our all-star team, and you're like, Mikkel, we need to work on your form. Like, you can throw it. Like, that kid could throw, but he had no clue what
You
he
ever
was
show
doing.
you his hands?
No.
He had Michael Jordan hands. His hands were this big.
Really?
That's why he could throw so hard. I feel
Yeah.
like he could have to hold that ball. It was like holding this mouse. McHale's hands were huge.
As a 12-year-old?
Yeah.
12-year-old.
Really?
Huge. He could do the split thing like
I think
easy.
him and
easy. I was
Kelly-
like, what the fuck?
Him and Kelly Tibbs probably had the
Kelly Tibbs had
has
big hands.
big
too.
monster hands too. But
They were big
McHale-
kids, though. I mean, they were
But
tall.
McHale, man, getting in the box with him, and he was wild before you got him. He was so wild. So
when
you
I
never
got-
knew what you were gonna get. You was ready, but
So
you
in
was
high
ready to
school,
duck, too.
for some reason, I don't know what happened with the pitching. They made me pitch, but I ended up being like a McHale in high school. Like I was fast, but kind of wasn't tuned in. It was a little runny.
I think because
It's an advantage, really. When you throw a two seam and they don't know if it's going to be, he called it outside. might end up inside. I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
I think what it might have helped you though is you never did throw when
Yeah, it helped my arm for sure.
Yeah, you didn't throw.
I didn't have any arm problems.
You probably
ever
pitched.
And the reason you got put on
All the way through college.
You probably pitched 12 innings your whole life up until high school.
what
if that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
what happened was that
You didn't
freshman
need
team,
to, though. You didn't need to pitch.
Yeah, I had you guys. I didn't need a pitch.
Who
Kyle
pitched?
Scott
Who pitched on
and
our
somebody
Giants
else
team?
that pitched on that freshman team got hurt that year, and they didn't have any pitching. So you stepped up, and they used you. And
Well, remember the middle school guy tried to make me pitch, and I think you stepped in and said no.
yeah,
You said he's not pitching. He's not ready. In middle school. And I was like, all right, whatever. I don't need to pitch.
Imagine
I had no desire to pitch. Never interested me until I realized, oh, this made the game actually fun because I'm in on every play.
Yeah.
Then I was like, I'll never not pitch.
See, you guys, so my 12-year-old year, you guys have like that one memory. 12-year-old year, we go to Warren Central back when they hosted All-Stars. We go extra innings. I come in and pitch. Second batter, drills it.
Yeah.
There goes my 12-year-old year. I'm done. My whole team's looking at me like, Weaver just gave a game-winning home run at extra innings and All-Stars? Come on, bro. I'm like, sorry, fellas. I was that guy.
You put me in, coach.
Sorry.
Yeah. I never wanted to. Even in high school, I didn't want to pitch. They made me.
you know,
I hated
to
it.
I didn't hit my first
I liked it in
home run.
college.
I didn't hit my first home run over the fence
You know what your problem was, though?
until last year at softball.
You know, my first home run over the fence was my 12-year-old year for the Giants.
And he wasn't
I
there.
remember that.
And he
Your
wasn't
dad
there.
missed it.
I
Your
remember
dad
it
missed it.
I was there.
No, you weren't. I remember
wasn't
Julie
up or
calling you.
something?
I wasn't there physically.
Oh, what
No,
does
no,
that
no.
mean?
What that? Well,
FaceTime, there was no FaceTime back in
no,
2001.
I got play-by-play of the shot. I'm on the phone to your dad.
Really?
Hey, I'm coming. How's it going? Well, your son's up to bat. I said, oh, really? He goes, yep. And all of a sudden I hear click. He goes, that's gone. I said, that's Jay. He goes, yep, you missed it.
Kyle could have hit home runs. Your problem was you swung with one hand.
Everybody, you know what's
And then-
crazy though is I never stepped in that box
Like-
trying to hit a home run though.
Ever.
I was a leadoff
Neither did
hitter.
I.
I
But
was
you
our leadoff
could've.
hitter.
But your ball got enough angle to where you could have. You just hit with you'd hit and back and right when it hit.
Maybe that's
you
why
would let
Braden
go
does
with
it.
your hand.
Maybe
Kyle's
that's why
goal.
Braden
Kyle's
did it.
Like, you
goal
wouldn't
was to get
swing
on
through.
base though,
Yeah.
and he did what he was supposed to do.
Always.
Like you
I
wouldn't
always
swing
did
through
my
the ball.
job.
You never swung through the ball till about middle halfway of the season. We were like, dude, swing through.
That was
the
probably
ball.
the year you
'Cause
and
kept on
Paget
using,
coached
one
me.
hand.
The year you and Paget coached me.
When
I
you go to
think.
the bigger field, you had to hit a little harder.
Well, and the thing is that I had a real. You wasn't telling me how to be in my box. I changed my stance every year until I got comfortable. You know what I mean?
I
'Cause
just
used to
remember
switch. I used to hit
Kyle's
open.
job was lead off, and he would hit the ball on the ground on purpose. That's what I always thought.
Always.
Yeah, he did
I
it on
would
purpose.
literally look.
He
for
wasn't
the
trying
gap.
to hit a double.
I
He was
would-
trying to get to first base.
I knew
That's
if
it.
I got on
And run.
base that was the momentum
We'll
we
win the
needed to
game.
start the game
Yeah.
to get everybody else rolling. Now, and I knew if I didn't get on base, then
be
it was going to be
long
a
day.
Was
long
it-
day.
Then you're just going to have to do it with your pitching.
Was
Well,
it
Yeah.
the thing
Him.
was,
Jordan bat second normally?
It was our lineup, Dad.
people didn't
Jay
want
third,
Like our 11, 12-year-old year.
Derek
Me.
fourth.
Well, you got to go to.
me, Jordan.
You know what's weird is I actually remember it seems like more about your guys' 11-year-old year batting order than I do your 12.
I remember more games as an 11-year-old than 12.
I remember Kyle always led off though.
It's probably because 12-year-old year was
And then
such
we
a-
went with Jordan.
Jordan, then Jay I think batted third, and Derek batted fourth,
Yep.
and then
Michael
I think
Stevens,
Michael
five.
I think Michael
fifth.
Stevens five.
That's what you
Yeah.
should have did if you didn't.
Yeah, that's what we did.
6 is probably Keith.
Keith.
Keith wasn't on that
No,
team.
Keith
was a year
talking about
probably
older
your-
than me.
Keith-
So
Six is probably your brother then.
Keith
Todd.
actually led off when you guys were 11.
Yeah, Keith did lead off on
Where
when he
did
was 11.
where did Todd hit? He was 2 years older than us, right?
He
I
was,
was 2 years
2
older.
years.
We played with him,
Todd's
though.
2 years older
2
than me.
years. Yeah.
So he played with us our first year, and that was it. And then
I played at 9. We played at 9, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
You played
We
on
played
the,
him for 2
you
years.
Played,
We played
you
him for
played,
2 years
you
that we
played
was
on the
at-
Braves at 9.
Oh, okay.
Then you played on the Giants 10, 11, 12.
It's because you told Kelly Tibbs.
But when you drafted me, I was 9.
Yeah, but you was league age 10.
How old are you right now?
32.
32.
You're 33, right?
I just turned 33 in February, yeah.
Yeah, see, I turned 33 in May.
May what?
31st.
Okay. However old you are on May 1st is your playing age.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wow. That screwed you. So you should have been 11 when we were 12, and he still dominated the league.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Impressive,
I
Kyle.
always played against older kids. I always played. That's what made me better, though.
That's because of Todd.
Well, exactly.
Well, when it came to high
around-
school, it was that I should have been 08, not 07. It, like just me thinking, if I would have played with these juniors I played with, I would have.
Kids
Won, I
nowadays
would have
get
won
held
Mr.
back.
I would have won Mr. Baseball. No, literally, the dude who won. Okay, everybody's laughing.
Yeah, you
My own family laughs.
And I'm not.
The guy who played first base in front of me at Perry came in second for Mr. Baseball, and I was a better hitter than him. But he was Perry since kindergarten through 12th grade, so they didn't let me play.
When did you transfer?
My last semester of high school.
Because you graduated from Warren, though, right?
No, I graduated from Manual, and they gave me a
Did
Perry.
you go to Warren too, though?
I went to Warren, and in my last semester of high school, I didn't like the coach, so I was like, I'm going to Perry. And when I showed up, they had 15 seniors. We should have won state easy. And they didn't want to add me, but they had to. They were like, this kid's, we have to add him.
Well, you gave him another.
So they made
arm.
me an only pitcher. Like, I didn't ever play the field, but I literally every swing in practice, no lie, Tommy and Kyle, I was dropping a bomb.
So
my senior year,
I believe it.
I was hitting
believe
like
it.
that.
I believe
So
it.
the coach, I was always telling him, you need to let Jay hit. You need to let Jay hit.
You wouldn't have made it where you did.
He's
if
like,
you
Coach,
wouldn't.
he goes, we're loaded. He goes, the guy that I was thinking he might be able to hit for is just having probably the best year.
He came second for
So,
Mr. Baseball.
here we
and I was a
go.
better hitter than him.
He's in a game where they're playing LC. Perry Meridians play LC. Now, let me tell you a little bit about that year. Center Grove's ranked number 1 almost all year. Perry Meridian beats Center Grove, who's ranked number 1 that year in the sectionals. They go to
We
regionals,
should have won easy state.
got beat by Cathedral, and Cathedral won the state.
Andrew Agnew. So here's what happened. We won sectionals. They're thinking, save me. We had the game wrapped up against Cathedral. They going on to win state. We were up by 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th. So they bring our weakest pitcher on because they're thinking Andrew Agnew is going to swing for the fence. He's going to fly out. They wanted to save my arm for the next game or something. They bring the kid in. Andrew Agnew hits a walk-off grand slam. Then they go on to win state. We had 16 seniors that were all
To give you another example
college
how good
players.
this team was loaded, they had started the Hall of Fame tournament down in Jasper. Jay goes down and pitches his championship game. And Perry Meridian that year, they bring 8 schools throughout the state in. They have this tournament every year at the beginning of the year. And Jay, I'll never forget it, they was on the radio there in Jasper, and they go, the Haney boy's a little unorthodox, but he's got the job done today for the Falcons.
Jasper just won state, and I just mowed him down.
So Jay's
It was
playing
good. My
in this
senior
season.
year, bro, I was good my senior year.
Playing this season.
I mowed him down.
And I'm wearing the coach out about let Jay hit. You know, I'm going too far. Imagine that.
You've
I mean, all that money you spent.
I did exactly.
Think about all the money
Exactly.
he spent on me hitting, and then now I'm not allowed to hit.
So the bases are loaded. Bases are loaded.
Drive me nuts too.
They're playing LC. LC had just won the state, 2006. And all of a sudden, Wampler looks over and we make eye contact. He's got 2 outs, and he makes eye contact with me, and all of a sudden I hear him go, Haney, you're up to bat. 2 outs, bases loaded.
Trying to prove something to
End
Dad.
of the inning.
Right.
Hoping I'd fail.
Double. Won the
Walk-off
game.
hit.
And I'm looking at him like,
Told you so.
yeah,
I ever tell you what-
that's one of the Jay Haney
I ever
highlights.
tell you what happened when we were up by 10 at Wyland? We're up by 10 at Wyland. It's like one of the last games of the year. Doesn't matter. And he's like, Haney, but he lets me take BP with the team, and I'm literally hitting home runs every swing. So he's like, Haney, go hit. I strike out because I'm frustrated. Like, you didn't let me hit all year, and I'm like swinging for the fence. And I go back to, and Wampler digs at me. He's like, what was that? Why didn't you get a hit? I'm just like, are you kidding me? You don't let me hit. Like, you expect me to, what were you expecting?
You know,
here and-
I was getting ready to
I
say
was so
earlier.
pissed about it. Like, what are you expecting me to do?
I was getting ready to say earlier.
I'm 1 for 2 on the season. What?
We talked
Right.
quite a bit about,
I'm batting a good
Chris
percentage.
Easton.
500, man.
and you know, Chris probably went further than anybody in Christian Park that I know of.
He's the only name that I
David
know.
Arnold.
Okay, when Chris gets drafted in Major League Baseball at Christian Park, there's one kid that goes in the draft before Chris Estep. Steve Weaver. Steve Weaver went in that draft. That kind of gives you an idea how good Steve Weaver was.
In the MLB?
No, in Major
No,
League
my
Christian
brother's
Park.
like, what?
Christian Park days.
Christian Park days.
That's how good
Steve
Steve was.
went number
Right.
1, Chris Estep went number 2. But
I went number one in my draft.
You don't remember
Well,
or ever met Steve,
no.
but Steve,
I did it.
Steve was a heck of a baseball player.
Right. I've heard stories about everybody knows stories.
9-year-old. I go play minors. Tom Matthews is the coach. I don't know if you know.
I know
Tony Matthews.
Yeah.
Okay.
His dad was the president when I first started Christian Park back when I was 7 years old.
So I play on his team at 9.
Back in 1974.
10.
Exactly.
10. They moved
Way
me
back
up.
then.
Really?
And
72.
his brother calls my dad.
was just
Says,
guessing.
well, here's the options.
One of these?
My dad's like, well, what's like what? He goes, well, Tommy's gonna either be the first pick and play on the Giants, which was the last place team last year, or you can help me coach and he plays for me. What do you want to do? My dad's like, I'll call you back in a minute. And this is when there was no cell phones. So they're calling from like the concession stand phone at the draft. They're like, hey, is this guy going to help
super
you coach?
official back then.
Yeah. So my dad says, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be the first pick as a 10-year-old, or do you want to go play for the Yankees and I'll help coach? I was like, you can help coach. I don't want to play for the last place
Now,
team.
look how serious you guys just take this drafting kids stuff.
Oh, man. It was.
Nowadays, it's like,
They're just a name on a piece of paper.
and they're like, here's your team. Call them.
Your
No
dad,
tryouts,
no,
nothing.
He
They
calls
don't
me
even have tryouts, nothing.
Nothing.
that year that I helped. He calls me, says, hey, the draft's happening. This Saturday is tryouts. Why don't you go down there, bring clipboard, some paper and pen, take notes of who's going to. I'm like, okay, like seriously?
Yeah.
So I show up and kids are set up against the fence and he's out just, politicking,
Oh,
and it
yes.
got me, working the, draft board and stuff. And I'm like, is
It's
this
just
really what we're doing? Like,
It's crazy. It's just not that big of a deal anymore. Those times were fun, I bet.
They were fun. They were a great
I
time.
wish people were more like that now.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up, but man, this has been fun. Maybe we need to get back together.
I think you might need to do a part 2. I feel like we didn't get into depth of a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's untelling how long we've
It's
been
just
doing
going
this.
to flow. We could probably do 10 podcasts just because it's so normal.
and we
Yeah.
get
It's just easy.
Jordan or Michael to come
Yeah,
join us.
we come back and get
definitely
those
gotta
guys in here,
Dorn
too.
It's a good
Michael
idea.
Stevens or something.
But Kyle,
Do a
thank you.
2.0.
Thank you very much,
Always.
buddy.
Thank you,
Man.
Coach.
Jay
Love
Bird,
you.
thank you
Yep.
for having us. Tommy Weaver.
Coach K.
So we're
Coach K, baby.
going to try to do a part 2.
We're on Haney Halftime right now.
All right, we'll do a part 2. But appreciate you guys being here, and we'll do a part 2.
If someone's willing to pay
I'll
the
see you
bill,
guys later.
why
All right,
not?
bye.
Appreciate it.